Hi, and welcome to this week's Pick Your Pokemon Oracle card reading. I am excited. We're doing What is Blocking You Currently? This week, our options are Bronzor, Togepi, and Dragonair. We have some Oracle and Tarot cards here. We're using my friend Nia's Positive Snark deck to do our clarifier card. And then I have my deck here to do some follow-up questions. Again, you can always get onto the pre-order for this deck on my website and evenweirderal.com. Timestamps are in the description. Let's find out what's blocking you. All right, Bronzor, you are up first. Pop this cutie up in the corner. Before we get started with these, let's go ahead and get a clarifier. What's blocking you currently? Positivity. I'm choosing to surround myself with positivity. This doesn't negate the negativity of the world around me, but it is choosing to speak to myself kindly and give myself the best chance possible to function from a healthier mindset. Practicing positivity can feel like a fucking nightmare, but I'm up for the challenge and I'm stronger than I think I am. This doesn't mean that I can't complain or express my feelings or even have my feelings. It does mean that when my brain spits out an intrusive negative thought about myself, I replace it with a positive one to remind myself that even though I'm flawed, I'm still a fucking amazing unicorn. And I'm fine. We all know what it means to be fine. F-I-N-E is usually a replacement for not great, but surviving. What fine really stands for, though, is fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. Did you learn something new today? Instead of showing up in the world fine, let's show up with our true feelings and honesty around how we're actually doing. If someone asks you how you're doing and you feel safe in that moment, feel free to share with them how you actually feel instead of resorting to using the word fine. If you're not doing fine in reality, it's okay. And if you are fine, try and use a more descriptive emotion to tell people how you're doing. Okay. Oh goodness, I can hear that I'm congested. Sorry. Oh, that's not great. I apologize. So this seems like having trouble accepting how you're really feeling and then also struggling with being positive in the truth of how you're feeling. Let's see what else we have here. Vinegar. This is about the past, looking at the past. It's good to look, but not to stare. Something's coming up from the past for you to look at. And release. This involves the act of, how do I want to word this? The act of intertwining two things at the same time without losing their individual qualities. So instead of red and white coming together to make pink, we have two separate things that enmesh and intertwine in a healthy way, merging without losing the self. We have strength. You have the strength to face this head on and you have the tools to do it, but you need to be strong enough to pick them up and put them to use. Desires. Are you admitting what it is you really desire? Are you being open about what it is you really want? There seems to be a struggle here with not giving yourself the opportunity to feel your feelings and instead just designating yourself as fine. This is an old practice that it's time to let go of, and that means growing into a new version of yourself. Be strong enough to be clear about what it is you desire to have in your life, to move toward, and also be open about how you really feel. We have the Lovers. This is a decision. This is a crossroads. You have a decision to make here. Are you going to move forward toward your desires, towards the life that you desire, or are you going to continue to look at the past and hold on to it? There is energy here around not being honest with yourself about how you feel, about how that shows up for you, and about not trusting yourself. We have take root, get grounded, embrace your surroundings and root yourself down so that you can make this decision, because you're at the crossroads of this decision, and holding on to the past is your blockage. Be willing to admit how you feel about everything that's going on around you. Trust that you're strong enough to deal with it, and trust that you're strong enough to move toward your desires. Look away. I love this with this. It's good to look, but not to stare. If you're staring at the past, you need to look away. I think there's a lack of honesty with yourself about your experiences currently and how that really feels, and a lack of acceptance of the fact that this is the past you're looking at, not your present. Trust what your soul is telling you, and name the fear, the negativity, the resentment, the poison that exists in the current way you've been approaching things. You have a decision to make here to move into a new version of yourself, and that means making the decision to go in a new direction. You're kind of lost in this fear right now, but there's so much possibility in the path that you're on. Don't limit yourself or put yourself in a box of the way things have been, because they don't need to be that way anymore. You're on purpose, you're on the right path, you're headed in the right direction. So without assigning a value judgment or of good or bad, you know what the right direction to go is here. And that involves accepting and acknowledging the things that you're doing or the ways that you're moving yourself away from the path that you desire. You have the strength to make the decision to move toward what you want. Be the hero in your own life. Embody the version of yourself you want to be. Be passionate, be tenacious, and find those people who you can collaborate with, who you can have reciprocal relationships, mutual relationships with, and embrace the new life that's coming toward you. You have an opportunity here to pivot things in a major way for yourself, and that involves recognizing where you're holding on to the past beyond what is healthy for you. You can do this. It's okay that it's hard. You're headed in the right direction, so just keep going. Make the next right choice every day. You don't need to figure it all out now. Just make the next right choice. Bronzor pile, this is your reading. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment. Let me know how it landed. What came up for you with this? And how is this connected to the eclipse that just happened? I hope this was helpful. And I hope to see you next week. Bye. Togepi pile. Hello. Look at this cute little baby. Go ahead and stick them in the corner. And before we start pulling out of your Oracle and Tarot, let's go ahead and get a qualifier for my friend Nia's deck. I love it. It's so pretty. Overcome. So we're talking about blockages here. It is my job to overcome my challenges, no one else's. However, when faced with a challenge that I feel incapable of overcoming, I'm allowed to do things to help myself. Things like asking for help, making a plan, or seeking support elsewhere. I know that this might be difficult and scary, but I also know that I'm so very capable and worthy of getting the help that I need. So your blockage here comes with an inability or lack of capacity when it comes to asking for help, asking for assistance. There's a lot of chaos going on right now, and there might be a part of you that's trying to make sense of it or trying to make it work in some way. But chaos is the most potent point. It's when all the things are happening and you must await clarity. And even though it feels like a lot, have a both and mentality. You can be strong and ask for help. Things can be wild and also be a gift. This can be a gift and also something that brings a lot of stress. This isn't something that you're going to be able to logic your way through. This is something that you're going to need to feel your way through, look for guidance, ask for help. Ultimately, this is a new beginning, and it requires you to connect with others to get there. You may be drawn to retreat. And maybe the help that you need to ask for isn't necessarily another person, but the divine or some kind of your guides or angels, ancestors, whatever you might work with. You don't have to do this alone. And you also can't force your way through this. Clarity and creativity are gifts of the divine. And by asking for help, by connecting with them, you might be able to find it. We have judgment here. I think that you are holding on to a lot of judgment of yourself. And we're skewing this card a little bit because I'm just following what I'm hearing. You don't need to judge yourself for needing help or for needing to ask for support. That's part of being human. That's part of this experience. Have an open heart. Be open to what others might bring to your journey and embrace the support that you're given. I think there's a certain level of closed off energy here because you feel weak or incapable when you must ask for help. But we all need help. Like I said, that's part of the human experience. Go into this with an abundance mindset that by asking for help, by asking for support, you're going to get more than you could have ever possibly imagined because it's blocking you. And your inability to be vulnerable with people about where you're struggling is hurting your progress and it's blocking your expansion. Ultimately, dropped cards. Ultimately, this is tied to an old wound, an old fear of rejection. Maybe in the past you've asked for help and haven't been able to receive it or were somehow criticized or rejected for asking for it. But that's not the life that you're living anymore. That's an old wound. Don't overthink it or try to control it, but instead trust that you'll get what you need right when you need it with that abundance mindset. See the parts of you that feel ignored or unheard and work with them. No one's going to come in and save you. You have to be the hero in your own life, but that doesn't mean that you can't get support. You're stuck in this identity of someone who does everything by themselves, and you're struggling to let go of an old narrative that isn't your life anymore. The people who once shamed you for needing support aren't the people that you turn to anymore. And you might be looking for something outside of you to fulfill that wound or that open kind of void that was left by those people. This is something that's going to come from within. It's going to come from taking your power back from this old wound so that you can connect. You can heal that part of you that's critical and guarded and stubborn and allow people in. Embrace what they can give you. Be pragmatic about the way you do it. It's going to be hard. It's going to involve facing repressed beliefs and feelings you have about the world and your life and the way that all of this fits together. And again, we have retreat here. We have solitude. Make sure you're taking time to rest. Oh my God, I love this. This is very much connected with the Sulfur card, the both and, accepting contradictions, that two things can be true at the same time. You need to rest and you also need to connect. You need to be in the present moment and be aware of your hypervigilance and how it's preventing you from stepping forward into relationships that can feed you and support you in overcoming this blockage. The blockage itself is your unwillingness to be vulnerable and connect with others and to receive their support when it comes to moving forward. Take some time to rest and accept that you can be safe and be around people, that you can be strong and get support from those people, that your hypervigilance might be trying to help you and also it's hurting you. You're at a pretty big crossroad here. And it's important that you don't choose to stay in your comfort zone and instead prioritize connection and community. Your aversion due to this old wound to community and connection with others is your biggest blockage in moving forward. So how can you love that part of yourself, support and bring so much compassion to the part of yourself that feels that fear, and also move forward into something that's bigger and better and for you? Togepi pile, I hope that this was helpful. This is a struggle I can very much relate to, and I hope that you are able to find some peace and find safe people that you can open up to and ask for support. The times when I've made the effort have been have paid off majorly for me. Leave a comment and let me know how this landed for you. Maybe it's showing up for you in a specific way. And I hope to see you next week. Bye. Dragonair, welcome. This is your pile. Isn't she so pretty? Go ahead and pop her up in this corner. And before we start pulling here, let's get our clarifier card. This is my friend Nia's deck. Isn't it gorgeous? Look at those edges. I love it. And let's see what's blocking you. Abundance. Today, wherever I go, wherever I am, the universe will throw resources and goodness my way. Whether that is money raining down on a freeway or the mental quietness of a neurotypical brain, I will be inundated with goodness and love and resources. Even though I may feel I do not deserve them, I've actually done a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm deserving of everything the universe gives me to celebrate who I am and what I've done. So we're talking about feeling as though we're worthy of abundance. There's been some death and decay of old belief systems, of old thought patterns, of outdated ways of being. Something's growing deep inside of you, something new, something tender. And abundance is coming in one ray and one day at a time. You're starting to see the products of the work you've done. These seeds are starting to grow into things that are giving you abundance, and you're really struggling to believe that you're worthy of it or that you've earned it. I think you are completely undervaluing the amount and intensity of work you've been doing for a while now. You've been so focused on healing, and you've put so much energy into defeating past obstacles and past trauma, to overcoming. It's coming in. You've been on a journey of self-discovery, and you're coming into something. You've driven into something new. And it's like your idea of what you've earned hasn't caught up yet. Disquiet the myth. You're telling yourself stories here. Devil's bit. I immediately heard that you're awaiting a finish line that doesn't exist. Like, when you reach this finish line, then you'll deserve this thing. But that's a finish line that doesn't exist, baby. It's not there. Ooh. Oh, lion. This is something that you need to go within and really connect with and think about. See what you haven't been able to see before. Face repressed beliefs and feelings you have about what you deserve and what you're worthy of. You're struggling to let go of an old idea, of an old belief. You're stuck in an identity of someone who must constantly be healing to be worthy of anything. And it makes me think about how for a long time, I had this belief that I was really hard to handle. I was a lot to deal with. And that the only way that I was worthy of people giving me their time and love and attention was to constantly be fixing myself so that I could be like, no, look, see, I'm working on it. I won't be this way forever. And that's kind of the energy that this has. You're way further than you think you are, and you're telling yourself an old story that doesn't apply anymore. You're missing information here. This is a story based on a reality that isn't true for you anymore. And you're able to embody so many more things. You're able to be so much more than you were before. And you're accepting the vastness of who you are. But you're still at war with yourself. You still see yourself as something to conquer. And you give the part of yourself that believes that you're something broken too much benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of black and white thinking here as you try to logic your way through this or create order. And this black and white thinking is preventing you from finding clarity in it. You're telling yourself an old story that doesn't apply anymore. You need to learn newly what you're capable of, because the old structure doesn't reflect who you are or what you're doing or how you're getting there anymore. This comes out of an addiction to chaos or addiction to healing in a way of like, you feel as though you must constantly be working on yourself and it's blocking you. You get stuck in your head about it. I feel like I want to just scoot everyone over a little bit. You're getting so in your head about it and it's blocking you from moving forward. So when I see the maiden reverse, it means that there's a story I'm telling myself that isn't based in reality. The narrative you have about who you are and what you're capable of and what you're worthy of isn't based in reality anymore. And you need to get to know yourself again so that you can return to yourself. This means loving yourself, accepting yourself, and trusting yourself unconditionally because you are an expert of your own experience. Don't ignore or avoid what you know is true, which is that you are in your power. You are the authority in your life. And even though sometimes it's easier to prioritize logic over how you feel and what your intuition is telling you, it is time for that behavior to die so that you can step into your feminine energy, so that you can trust your intuition, so that you can create, so that you can be, and you can step out of this rigid fear of your own power and you can stop isolating. It's time to close that book because that story's over. Separate how you really feel from what you've been conditioned to believe about yourself. Your biggest obstruction is that you're telling yourself this old story that you're unworthy. So it's time to face your fears, be open-minded, and be honest about the truth you know, which is that you are new, you are whole, and you are worthy. Find balance between heart and head. You deserve everything you've earned, and you've done a lot of work to earn it, so own it. You're here, baby. Trust, love, and accept yourself unconditionally, and you can do anything you put your mind to. Dragonair, Pile, I'm so glad you were here, and I hope that this was helpful. Leave a comment. Let me know how it landed for you. And I hope to see you next week.